welcome to the Market Authority Show. I'm your host, Stephanie Lugo. If you have found your way here, you are a real estate pro who's ready to transition from chasing leads to getting dream clients to chase you. This podcast is where you will learn modern real estate tactics to attract, connect, and scale so you can get paid consistently, connect with dream clients, and keep your sanity. Let's get to it. Welcome back to the Market Authority Show. I am your host, Stephanie Lugo, and today I have with me KarenAnn, a successful realtor based out of Georgia, and the success coach for the Market Authority Academy. And I am lucky to say a dear friend of mine. KarenAnn and I have worked together for several years, and our relationship has grown from coach and mentee to friends to colleagues as we both help support and empower other real estate agents in the US and Canada through MAA. Today, on the first episode of season 2 of the Market Authority Show, so exciting, we are going to share a little bit of an outlook on how real estate agents can be successful as the market continues to shift and how we are changing our approach to coaching in MAA to meet today's unique challenges. KarenAnn, welcome to the show.
Whoop, whoop. I'm excited to be here. I always love coming on, so thank you for having me again.
The pleasure is all mine. We were just talking offline a little bit, and like 3 times we were like, oh, we just need to hit record and go, but also this.
I know.
anytime we get going, we have such interesting conversations. And I'm so glad that we get to share them with the audience with Market Authority. So thanks for being here.
Yes.
I want to start with the year that we've had. It has been a really interesting year. And we had a little bit of this conversation earlier today in our team meeting. So for those who don't know, KarenAnn is a success coach with Market Authority Academy. She has been for a year and a half.
Yes. Yep.
A
year and a half. Can you believe it?
I can't. You were, I've been coaching you for a couple of years. And then when we launched the Market Authority Academy, you were one of the very first agents in the beta program. Actually, you were the first agent who I called and I said, hey, I know we've been like going back and forth for a while. We've been working together for a while. I have this new program launching. You've got to be in it. So you've been here from the start. And when it was time to bring on some support with Market Authority Academy, as it's continued to grow, and we're now at almost 500 members, which is nuts. It has been so amazing having another realtor in the program who understands not only the business and like the industry, but also the strategy that we apply here. So this year's been really interesting. And what we've been calling this year back and forth a lot is our slingshot year.
Yes.
How are you feeling 9 months into our slingshot year?
Yeah. Well, so I'm feeling really solid in that being like our word or our theme for the year, not only within Market Authority, but also within my own business, because I feel very much in alignment in how the year has developed. That same I just find myself saying that over and over again. Yeah.
I guess we could talk a little bit about what that means to us. And one story that I was sharing this morning that I was like, this really resonated with me is just understanding that there are 3 main seasons that people will go through, almost like a cycle.
Yeah.
And like success is not linear. We know this. Growth is not linear. You always kind of have to go back to the drawing board depending on what the season requires of you. And the 3 stages, 3 seasons that you'll find yourself in at any given point in life are a planting season, a nurturing season, and a harvest season. And we decided we're in which season?
We are in more of a nurture season right now.
Yeah. How are you seeing that in your business? I guess let's start with that. Okay. And then so like a little bit of where we're at now and then where we're going to be.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So for me and my business, very much in alignment with Market Authority and the slingshot sort of idea is that I found myself almost a year ago really needing to pivot my my marketing message. Ultimately, I was working with a lot of first-time home buyers, and I I love first-time home buyers. Do not get me wrong, right? But I found myself really my stage of life was changing a little bit, and the way my business was evolving was changing. And so I really decided that I wanted to have more strategy to market myself to first time home sellers.
Mhm.
And um, I wanted to do that in a strategic way because I had this like light bulb moment because one of my clients, after 2 years of nurture with this client as a first time home buyer, looked at me at the closing table and said, "Hey, KarenAnn, thank you so much for helping us buy. Can you actually sell a house though? Like, can you list a house?" And I was sort of like at this jaw dropping moment, like, how do you not know that? You know? So I decided at that moment that I needed to start pivoting. I needed to make sure that people knew that I could list homes and that I wanted to list homes and that I was an expert in a simultaneous sale. Especially in this market. And so that was sort of this like line in the sand moment that kind of began this pivot, among other things, like the market having shifted and just sort of it's just in a weird place. We're in unprecedented times, and we have been I feel like for years now.
Yeah.
And so I think at that moment I just decided, you know what? I'm just going to take some time. I'm going to reflect on how far I've come because that is so integral in a sort of challenging setting and or um, a setting in which you are not sort of being able to produce or end up harvesting, right? As it pertains to different seasons. And so I just did a lot of reflecting, and based on that, I was able to sort of shift my messaging and my mindset a little bit about the intention that I needed this year to turn out to be.
That is so well said and well put. And I feel like we had a really similar experience in our real estate business. And we are almost going on 10 years in business, Bryce and I, my husband and I. And we've had up years, we've had down years, but we've had the last 4 or 5 years have been extreme growth years for us, which
Mhm.
has been great. And over this last year, we had our second son, and
Mhm.
that just bowled me over. And suddenly, what was working for us in terms of time and energy expenditures didn't work at all.
Mhm.
And having that second kid may as well have meant 10 kids. Like I I was like, what? And when and you know this, when you are in business with your spouse, you do have a lot more leverage for your business, but at the same time, they're going through the same challenges that you are. And so
Mhm.
it wasn't necessarily being able to like tap on the shoulder of a team lead or another agent who had a lot of bandwidth. Both of us collectively, our time just like evaporated.
Mhm.
And so it really made it, at the same time, the market has been shifting, right? And so
Mhm.
it really made it so important for us to understand, like, where is our marketing efforts going? Where are our marketing efforts going? Where are we really looking to like tap into in the market?
Mhm.
And what do we want business to look like? Like, how do we want our business to support our growing family at this stage? Because when it was 2017, 2018, when we started really, really exploding our business
Mhm.
and social media really started turning out for us, it was so different just being two newly married,
Mhm.
individuals, like very energetic at the peak of our like young professional lives. Now it's totally different. Like, yes, we have the experience and the seasoned real estate experience that, is really helpful to have. But as you say, we're in unprecedented times. The market has shifted. And what's really important here that I think that you kind of touched on is the public has shifted. Social media and marketing has shifted so drastically. And what used to work really well on social media isn't working hardly at all anymore. And we've had to really change quite a bit this year.
Yes, absolutely. And, to that point, I think having these seasons of like reflection and knowing, I think really knowing who we want to connect with is vital in that, because if you're just sort of throwing spaghetti at the wall, uh, you can't do that anymore. You have to be intentional on social media, and like you said, what was working isn't working anymore. And so you have to be able to pivot that message, and you have to be able to pivot not necessarily even like the message per se, but like how you present that message.
Yeah.
And I mean, even 6 months ago, it's so different. I feel like the evolution of social media and short form video, I mean, we knew it was coming. Since I've been in the industry, that's been the message: video, video, video. And I could just never imagine how it would have evolved from a little bit of video and setting yourself apart with like stories and things like that, to then dancing, right? 3 years ago, and pointing, to now people just like want the real, the raw, and they want it as quickly as possible. And they want you to cut through like all of the fluff and just like shoot it straight and be a real, true human, which is what an opportunity. I'm sorry, but what an opportunity to be alive, where you can just showcase like your actual self,
No, I totally agree. It is such an opportunity, but also at the same time, it is so much more challenging in the moment when you are, and this is why we're talking about this as a slingshot year.
Right.
This is the whole thing. We're recognizing all these changes that are happening, and we can't continue just blasting through doing the same old. When that happens, you have to allow yourself to cut back on action, which is going to impact production. Like, I have seen a slower year in my real estate business because of this. It's just and you're never going to have like growth year after year after year. This is a natural part of business. You are going to have peaks and valleys. The hope is that your systems help you to have higher peaks and more shallow valleys, right? So this is just a natural part of business. And so recognizing that, again, understanding what season we're in, so that we can really look at, okay, where's the opportunity and how can we get as much leverage from it as possible? And so what I love that we've done is we've allowed ourselves the time, we've given ourselves the grace to be bold and invest. And so one thing that we haven't really talked about much, at least publicly, I'm going to sound crazy for saying this right now, but I'm going to straight up say it. We've invested $50,000 almost in the last, I would say less than 12 months. Really learning new skills. And I've been able to like bring you in on almost all of that, which is awesome. And so we've had the benefit to really learn some new marketing. We've taken some really incredible like workshops and training and coaching. And it takes a while to implement new strategies. But what we've been able to do with that investment of time and money and energy is to then build that into, after implementing it into our businesses and saying like, yes, this is it. This is exactly what was missing or what is needed in consideration to all the changes that are happening. We've been able to build that investment into the Market Authority Academy curriculum as well. And that's kind of the benefit of like being made for realtors by realtors.
Right.
A lot of coaching programs don't necessarily do that. They're like out of production.
Never were. Maybe couldn't quite cut it, so they opted for a different route. Yeah.
It's so true. I know. Why do I always feel bad for saying that? But it's the total truth.
Yeah, it really is. And like we as human beings are like a combination of the people that we surround ourselves with. And it's really important to vet who you are surrounding yourself with in life and in business. And we do it when we are looking into like joining a brokerage, or if an agent was looking into join a team. Like, you can't just go necessarily off of how something makes you feel. You have to go off of like proven strategy, you
Yeah,
know?
it's
Yeah.
true. So let's talk about some of the big changes that we have made to the Market Authority Academy curriculum. Now, just in case anyone's listening to this and they don't know how Market Authority Academy is set up, it's a hybrid mentorship program that combines our proprietary business planning process, business strategy rather, um,
Mhm.
with coaching, right? So you get
Mhm.
that human element, but even more importantly, in my opinion, like raw accountability coaching is great, but like you need a plan, you need a
Yeah.
strategy, you need the step by step, and that's where we spend a lot of time refining so
Yeah.
that the action is there. Tell me a little bit about your favorite changes to our approach this year.
Ooh, I don't know that I was quite prepared for that question. My favorite
No.
changes?
Well, because we revamped basically
We
the
did.
entire
We
curriculum.
did, and so it's so hard to choose a favorite.
Mhm.
So what I think has been, I think what's going to be game changing for our members is that we've, like you said, rah is great, but we have like stripped everything back,
Yeah.
and we've like peeled all of the layers back, and we are, very focused on the action, the understanding behind what we're doing, and then the action in which we need to take to really slingshot, if you will, our businesses to the next level while maintaining that sustainability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know if this is what you're referring to, but if it
Okay.
is, hopefully,
Okay.
I'm feeling this in the first stage. So
Yeah.
we have a 7-stage curriculum, and the
Yes.
first stage is getting a pulse. And
Yes.
it's really understanding, okay, where is business at right now? And
Mhm.
I think a lot of times when real estate agents know that they need to pivot, their inclination sometimes is just to burn everything to the ground and start from scratch. And you don't have to do that because
No.
there's always something that you can build
Yeah.
on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's okay to peel back those layers.
Yeah.
And dare I say, it's okay to have like a little bit of a leaf burn situation in a garbage pail, right? Or whatever the case may be. I don't know. I'm not an expert in that, but um you don't ever have to start from scratch,
Yeah.
and as you develop these systems, and strategies in your business, you come to, like, love the seasons of, like, getting a pulse and self-reflection, and at the end of the quarter, here we are right now, and
Yeah.
I'm just like, "Ooh, it's almost time. I get to, like, have a moment with myself and my business and, like, reflect on what's really been working and make decisions on what hasn't been. Do I need to step up my game, or do I need to let it go? And if I need to let it go, it's okay.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, that's so true. And I think a lot of times we make those decisions based on gut feeling. But what
Mhm.
I love that we do in that stage is we actually walk our members through
Right.
specific assessments. We say, this is the
Yes.
data you need to be looking at, and this is how you're going to interpret it. These are the questions you need to be asking yourself. And we get extremely granular. And hey, here's how you're going to do this step by step. And then what we've done is we've created a 90-day action plan where we help them understand specifically these are the 3 things you need to do in the next 90 days to
Right.
see a pivot in your business. And I think being able to offer that much clarity
Right.
is really what gives that motivation and excitement.
I could not agree more. And I feel like we've gotten such great feedback from our members about that as well. Where before they may have felt like, oh, I have to, correct everything, right? Like burn it down and start again.
Yeah.
And some of them are like, hold on a second. You only want me to focus on like one or two things.
Yep.
And that's really challenging. But because we've peeled back those layers and because we have focused on the data and the reflection, they are able to forge forward in the most positive direction that their personal businesses need, which is incredible.
Yeah, because I think what we have found in the last year, I think that really drove us to create this kind of process is it's almost never more.
Right.
Like yes, more action is great. It doesn't always lead to more money.
Right.
And what I think is so nuts is I look back at my early days in real estate and I remember like the 7-day work weeks. I remember the 12 hours a day, 14 hours a day. And then by the end of that first year, we were looking at each other saying like, how do we do that again?
Mhm.
Like we made some pretty good money that first year. How, like we had no idea how we did it and like what actually led to us having closings.
Mhm.
And so I think that's what's really powerful about this is being able to, again, just strip it all back and say, like, forget about the noise, forget about the overwhelm, forget about the busy work. Here's what you actually need to focus on.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, it just once again, it goes back to stripping those layers and it goes back to that like just full on reflection. Last year I invested in some Google PPC leads
Yeah.
and I was able to, after a year, reflect and say, you know what? I definitely helped to increase my business. But I didn't necessarily love the lead source. That I wasn't working with my ideal client. It was a struggle. I wasn't with this particular lead source, it wasn't like a brand forward approach, which is what resonates for me so much. And because of that, and because of the reflection that I was constantly doing and am constantly doing in my business, I was able to say, you know what? Yes, it brought me more business, but at um, not at a rate that was worth it for my mental and emotional spirit, and not in a way that was worth it for the work-life balance that I'm working on, achieving. And so like those extra deals just it wasn't worth it. And that's where this like peeling back those layers, getting a pulse on what your business is doing, that's where this is so integral. And you're not just doing it like once and setting it and forgetting it. No, this is like a constant, um, it's a constant practice that you have to be in. And I think you have to be in it in life too. you
Yeah.
know, yeah.
It's true. And I think that it's like this in every business, right? It is like this in every business because every business has a market that they're
Yes.
trying to tap into.
Mhm.
And that market is going to have changing needs, it's going to have changing desires. And we just happen to be in a market that's highly volatile. Like the
Right.
real estate market is highly volatile because it is directly tied to the patterns of life. It
Right.
is tied to lifestyles, to life stages, to life moves. And so
Mhm.
we have to be cognizant of that. And when you choose to be a realtor, you sign up for that and you sign up for being able to meet your ideal clients where they're at. And so
Mhm.
that is something that has been at the core of how I have run my business. And I admit it has been so like the process of creating a brand forward business based on attracting your ideal client has been such a core part of how I maneuver that I didn't realize it was something that our members sometimes overlooked. Like,
Mhm.
I think that one big change to the Market Authority Academy this year for me has been like, hold up, like systems are great. But if you don't know your ideal client and you don't know your brand, your systems aren't going to get you to where you need to be.
Right.
And that was like one big thing that helped me change. And so that leads us to the second big change that we've made in Market Authority Academy, which is completely revamping our exercise to helping real estate agents identify their brand and ideal client, which is the brand builder.
Yes, which I could not have the way it came together. I could not have like and even envisioned it. It just is a combination of so many good practices in reflection and in I know I keep talking a lot about reflection, but I did not realize until probably a year ago how important reflection is and how it moves you forward. But it pieces together like your unique skill set. It pieces together your unique market. It pieces together your unique clientele and builds out this amazing story that you get to share and you get to apply to all of your marketing that really sets you apart, which is fabulous because you like posting just sold and just listed and like having the most production does not set you apart.
Yeah.
But sharing all of these different facets into this brand story is what sets you apart.
It totally does. And it reminds me of Vivian, and we shared one of her wins recently. And Vivian, we love Vivian. Vivian, we love you. She is out of Tampa. And she has been with us, I want to say like a year and a half at least. I think she came in the early stages of last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
She's gone through an incredible transformation in her business. And she decided early on that she was going to go all in on YouTube with the ideal client of new construction. Like she wanted to tap into that new construction market. She wanted to be known as like the go-to new construction agent in her area, which there happens to be a lot of new development, a lot of relocating. Like it was brilliant as a move for her, especially as a newer agent.
Right.
And so she shared this awesome win where she's been really applying this strategy of like speaking to her ideal client, leaning into that content framework. And there was a group of ideal clients who came in, and she has generated all her business from YouTube this year, which is amazing, of ideal clients. And she had this client come in and within 70 days closed them, like met them, closed them in 70 days, which is very fast for new construction. It's like so exciting. And what I thought was so funny was they had like kind of not admitted, but they told her at the closing, like, hey, by the way, like you weren't the first agent that we reached out to. They had reached out to a more seasoned, a higher, like a bigger brand name agent in that area, also on YouTube. And they had reached out to that individual and like they had an okay meeting at first, and then it just like fell apart. And they just didn't have that like really, while they were walking the walk in terms of the content that they were creating, it didn't have like the back end experience that they were expecting. So that whole brand like kind of just fell apart. It's one thing to be able to say on social media like, hey, this is who I am and this is who I serve, but it's another to actually be able to let that brand fall through into the entirety of the transaction. And they said that immediately when they met her and they met with her, they felt as if like that was exactly who they wanted to be working with. They loved her communication. They loved how she presented herself. And it was like a done deal right there. And that's what marketing with a brand forward market strategy allows you to do. I've been saying this a lot recently, but it does lead you to effortless sales. And you do have to know how to sell in real estate, but it doesn't have to be icky and it doesn't have to be hard.
No, not at all. Not at all. And that just kind of brings me back to you can be your real true self as long as you have these good intentions and these good motivations. People will feel that and they will know in the way that you carry yourself and the way that you provide your experience for them. They will know that that it's like that white glove or like a VIP service. They'll be able to tell, and you'll be able to provide that when you are thinking client forward, brand forward. Absolutely, without a doubt.
Yeah. The brand builder has been a lot of fun. We're actually going to be teaching it live tomorrow with the group, which I'm really excited about. Tomorrow's coaching call. The other part of that, so the third part, so the brand is important. What
Yeah.
comes from the brand is like understanding who you're looking to attract into your business so you don't have to chase.
Mhm.
It helps you identify your prospecting routine. And it also helps you clarify your content strategy. So you know exactly what to post on social media, where to post on social media. It kind of nails it all down. It's brilliant.
Mhm. It
I can
is.
myself.
You can give yourself a pat on the back for that.
The third part of it is backing it up with the systems.
Mhm.
So what are you kind of excited about as far as like the actual systems side of things to make sure that we're able to deliver that VIP brand experience once we do generate the leads? Because it's not enough to generate the lead and close the deal. We want to make sure that that is a client for life so we get all the referrals and repeat business.
Absolutely. So, for me, that looks like, and we talk about this often within Market Authority, but creating a wow experience, that white glove service, right, or the VIP service, and how that looks. You know, I don't know. I'm such a literal thinker. Like, I'm not actually wearing white gloves, but I am thinking of my clients. And I don't think of myself in the sales industry. I do think of myself in the service industry. And so, how can I be of value to you and an asset to you after you close? What sort of resources do you need? How can I check in with you and make sure that everything is going okay, not only with your house, but also in your life? And I think that, being on social media can help solidify and build engagement with those people. But more than that, you actually have to show up and get in front of people in a way that is authentic to you. I think and I feel like that's where we're shifting to this year. For me personally, that's been a big portion of my slingshot is, now that we can travel and now that we can go out and things are getting busier, I'm making it more of a point to get in front of my people and let them know I'm thinking of them and let them know that I'm here for them. And if something happens, they get a card from me if I see it on social media. Like, I am sending you something. If something terrible has happened, I want you to know I'm thinking of you, and that if you need a shoulder to lean on, because I care about people. So it
Yeah.
has to be authentic to you, okay? But more so, I found myself in this time of sort of pivot and redirection, um, considering relationships in just a different way. I am in my neighborhood working through my HOA and really connecting with my neighbors. And just as important as that message is to say on social media, it is also important to have what you're saying in person. So I've been able to share, the love that I have of working with a first-time home seller and a very particular first-time home buyer, which is my ideal client that I have sort of niched and built out. And I can say with confidence why I love working with them, how I set myself apart through this brand builder exercise, right? I've been able to take this message and really not only apply it to social media, but apply it to my everyday conversations and allow myself to work on some skills in terms of, communication, and in terms of standing up as a leader in my community, which has been such an incredible thing that I had no idea I was actually working on.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
I was telling you this morning, I saw this awesome video from Mel Robbins,
Mhm.
and she was saying how every time she was going through a hard situation or a challenge, or she had run up against an obstacle, she would tell herself, this there's no way I can not believe that
Mhm.
this is helping prepare me for something amazing. And I think that that's really true. Like if we look at the past year, This industry has gone through a lot of challenges, and I argue there are many challenges to come.
Mm-hmm.
If you stick it through, and instead of just burying your head in the sand and like just crying about the market and things that we can't control, what can we build upon? What skills do we really need? What systems are going to help us continue to stay and, like, you know, tread water as long as it takes for the market to come around? You know, it's not a bad market. It's just the market.
Yeah.
We go through different seasons. We go through different shifts. And so that has been a lot of fun to see how you are taking these other skills and applying it to other areas. And it does require some reflection, to your point. It does require a sense of, like, presence and awareness to say, like, oh, okay, this is how I'm going to apply this in other areas. I think that's cool. That is a huge win.
Agreed. Yeah, it really is. And yeah, I've just found myself, and I said this as well off camera or offline or off video. I don't even know what to say here, but off podcast. But you know, it's interesting because when you're in the trenches and you are just barely getting by and feeling like, I'm doing my very best and I'm just like paddling and I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere. I never, ever, 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 ever realize that I'm in this moment of, or like this season of like huge growth. And it kind of always happens like that, where I'm like, oh, I was really like doing this and I've come so far. And, you know, like, it's those little intricate, like daily activity that you do. It's the routine that you set up. It is the, you know, like the work ethic in which you're like, I'm going to keep going. Even if it doesn't feel like I'm getting anywhere, I'm going to trust the process sort of moments that really, truly build who you are as a person.
Yeah, and you've got to be resilient to make it in this industry for sure. And I think that just kind of helps to underscore that. One thing that we're really excited to do is get back in touch with our database, because it's one thing that we've done a really good job of over the years, but we're looking, just as you say, to kind of like rethink those relationships, especially because we, like, personally, like Bryce and I have grown our family, like I said, and a lot of our clients have gone through that too. Like, we have a handful of just like A+, like extremely supportive clients who send us many referrals each year. They're also all going through that same life stage. So a lot of our clients are either on their first babies or second babies, and they're going through a lot of the same challenges that we have over the last couple of years. And I'm excited to help continue to support them through that journey, and just think like, okay, the things that we used to do to market and to connect with them, like going out to dinner, going out to the trendy restaurants, we used to do a lot of that with our database. We're not going to be able to do that anymore. Like, I got a text. I got a text from one of my favorite. We're not allowed to pick favorites, but you know what I mean. One of my very dear clients a couple of days ago, and she said, "Hey guys, I have a sitter for," I think she said, the 29th, and that was like a month.
Right.
We have a sitter for the 29th, and I just went ahead and made a reservation. Hopefully you guys are good with this. And I'm like, that's fantastic.
Yes.
because what used to work, like the kind of events, the kind of pop-bys, all that stuff kind of has to change a little bit. And so we're also in that space of reimagining that clients for life journey of like, okay, if we're really going to be clients for life, if we're going to be their realtors for life rather, where are they in the cycle of homeownership now? Now they're a little bit like more seasoned, right? They, to your point, like most of our clients at this point are also going to be like first or second time sellers. And you got a gaggle of kids running around. And so those challenges are different. And so being able to tweak our systems somewhat to provide value that meets them where they're at, I think is going to be absolutely imperative to standing out in this market too.
Yeah, 1,000%. And just like appreciating, I love that you can appreciate that you guys are all like in the same boat, you know, and 1 month out, that's fabulous, because then you can actually make something happen. And so then you just have to be more intentional, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because the metrics change a little bit too.
Right.
and like understanding what metrics we need to be tracking. That's a really important system. That's actually stage 7. So
Yeah.
making sure we have the right metrics and the right numbers that we're paying attention to, and interpreting that data to say like, okay, here's where the business is now. This is where it should be 90 days from now, and making sure that all looks good.
Right. Absolutely. And I'm so excited because it's end of quarter. So it's like time to like look at all of these numbers that we've been, because you track things just on such a different level. Like some things you have to track daily and things you have to track weekly. And then you get to pull it all together and you get to decide, you know what? Business looks differently and this is what I'm going to do. And this is what I want to do to like uh to make it feel authentic to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I think we are in a really interesting point of time in real estate. And, one thing that's always been true is you don't grow at the top of the market. Like you might be selling at the top of the market,
Mhm.
but you are harvesting, again, back to that analogy, the seeds that you sowed years prior.
Absolutely.
And I have so much excitement when I look ahead to what the next couple of years have in store for us. And I just know that we're doing all the right things to make sure that we are going to be ready for it. And I know that those in the Market Authority Academy are as well, since they are betting on their growth in such a cool way. It's been really, really neat to be a part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't think I could have said it better. When ah, that analogy just works so well. Like as you think through it and like think through as I think through like say different seasons in my career and it just makes sense. And so even if you are in more of a nurture phase and not necessarily a planting phase, or if you are in a planting phase and you're like, "Oh, I want to get to the next phase, no matter what, you're always going to kind of be planting, right?
Yeah.
And that's sort of like key. And then you get to watch as you nurture some parts of the harvest, or like if you're thinking in the gardening terms, like you had an outrageous supply of tomatoes this year, and like they popped off while other things were sort of kind of waiting and being nurtured. And then as the tomatoes kind of like got through their process, you were able to like focus on other pieces of your garden. And I think that knowing that you kind of get to control what you plant and what you nurture, and then what ends up harvesting gives you this I don't really want to say hope, but it's the trust that it's going to like all come back when it needs to, right?
That kind of just like gave me goosebumps.
I know. I didn't expect to like go so deep, but here we are.
Well, it's true. Like I'm thinking about an agent on our team, and love her dearly. And she has been in a major planting and nurturing season
Mhm.
this year. And we were talking to her last week, and she's busy every single day right now. She has like
Mhm.
multiple closings this month. She's got these clients coming out of the WordWorks, and she's like doing it.
Mhm.
And 6 months ago, that wasn't the story. And there was probably like a little bit of like, oh my gosh, like what am I like, this is, you feel crazy when
Mhm.
you're sticking to the process and doing the things that you know you're supposed to do, and you're not seeing immediate results. But this is not a business that provides immediate results. This is a business that provides lasting results when you're doing the right things. It can be very reciprocal in that way.
Right.
And it's been really fun to watch this agent on my team kind of go through that process, and like have that gift of like, look at what you did,
Mhm.
at what you're being rewarded with. And I hope that continues to like come through for her, because
Mhm.
she's working really hard, and it's really, really exciting to see. But you're absolutely right. It's trust in the process, and just being able to stick through that and rely on the discipline over motivation is
Right.
what's really going to help see us through, I think.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yes.
You. Okay. Well, I want to be respectful of our time here because I feel like you and I, not even feel like, I know you and I can go for hours when we allow ourselves to have some really fun, long-winded conversations. As we wrap up, what are you really looking forward to in the next year, either in your business or for the Agents on the Market Authority Academy, KarenAnn?
Oh, that's a fun question. And I kind of want to answer for both. So in my business, I've the other part of like my pivot in my business is I just sort of decided to start a team myself. And so I I have been really enjoying this process of just like making sure that I have everything in order so that I can set agents that are on my team up for the most success. And so I'm really looking forward to that moment that you were kind of talking about with your team member where like all of the harvest is kind of starting to come to fruition. I am very much looking forward to that. That is like because I love people and I love helping people and like watching them bloom. I'm very much excited for that. So I will definitely be updating you when that happens. And then I think if I could say the same thing for our members at the Market Authority, as we have come in and revamped and peeled away those layers and really just making sure that we are most focused on those activities that don't necessarily feel like the fun activities, right? Like we're watering the plants every day and we're weeding the garden every day. And it just feels like, man, these things are never going to bloom. And then all of a sudden they do. And I love, I guess I just love watching it because I've felt it. I've been able to reflect on it in my own business in multiple different seasons. And I absolutely love watching other agents like Vivian and other agents that are in the Market Authority just come and like give these awesome wins. And I'm just like over here doing like happy dances.
I'm the same way. It's so much fun to celebrate.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you? What are you looking most forward to?
Man, that's a good question. It's my question. Just kidding. Man, I just ask such great questions. Just kidding.
You do. You're a queen.
I'm looking forward to a different kind of business on my end. So while I'm probably most excited for the wins in Market Authority Academy. Already, the Market Authority Academy was absolutely transformational for real estate agents, and the number of agents who share with us wins and testimonials like, this has changed my life, this has changed my business. We had one agent who reached out to us privately saying, you guys, I cannot even believe that I made $100,000 in my first year in business. We had other ones saying like, I cannot believe how, Katie is a great example. Everyone else seems to be going through a really slow season, but like, I've never been busier. Like seeing those wins, it's amazing. And then the trickle down effect of what it does to help them with their families and like how they thrive in so many different ways. Like that to me, I live for. That's why I love being in the Market Authority Academy. That's why I'm so driven to help support other agents through this initiative. It's also a new season for me in business, right? Like in my real estate business and our real estate team. And I'm really excited because Bryce and I are at a place in our real estate business where we have just kind of this quiet confidence, where we don't need to prove ourselves. We've really established ourselves. And Bryce was just at a broker open the other day, and everyone knew who he was, and having a little bit of that foothold in the market where we've been able to build a reputation that precedes us a bit, and people know that we take our work seriously and that we do good work and we really treat our clients well. I want to just like really lean on doing more of that, and I want to work with the clients, kind of like what you said. I'm at that place in business where I'm not looking to I personally am not looking to be the highest producing agent in the Valley.
Yeah.
There were 45,000 other agents in my market. I don't need to be the one who's selling the most, but I do want to be the most peaceful. I do want to be the most happy. Like I want to be rich and wealthy in all areas of my life.
Right.
That doesn't mean that I need to be like the top producing agents. And behind me, we've got all kinds of like little plaques and stuff of our production. We've been top producers in our market for years. And that's really awesome. But I want to earn the amount of money that my family needs for our lifestyle and not worry about the other stress that comes with it.
Right.
This is a really stressful, competitive industry, and there's a lot of ick when it comes to it. And if we can create a business that continues to thrive and helps us deliver on our mission, both with our clients, but with other agents in the community as well, then that's where I want to be. And I think that if we can continue doing that, then we're going to win regardless of how things are looking in the market itself.
I love that so much. And that is something to aspire to as an agent, especially if you're getting started, but even, like just as you're like middle of the road and you're like, okay, I've kind of built this sustainable business and now I want the peace, right? That comes with it. Yeah. I love that so much.
Yeah. KarenAnn, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
I want to acknowledge you for how awesome you are. You are such a giving person, and it's never not impactful. There's a lot of people who want to give and who kind of like really want to make sure that they're in every single part of, their people's lives, but you create transformation and you create impact everywhere you go. And one thing that you had said was like how these, you didn't realize it, but you were building these skills and it was helping you in these other areas of life. I have seen you grow so much in the last year and a half of really working closely together. And it has been so fun to watch. You have so much to offer and so much to give, and you do it with such grace. And I am so lucky to be able to work alongside you. And I'm just really grateful for you.
Well, thank you for that. No, I'm going to cry. I feel like every time I get on one of these, we cry. Thank you so much. I could not, I couldn't do this without you. I know that I have drive and I know that I'm resilient, but you quite literally taught me how to run a business. And I am so thankful that you are still my mentor to this day in life and in business. And I'm so thankful that I get to do this alongside you and get to learn from you. And I have become such a better person by you being in my corner. So thank you.
Pleasure's all mine. I love you.
I love you.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in to the season opener for season 2 of the Market Authority Show. If you are listening to this episode and you're like, I got to get me some of that, check out all the show notes for any resources mentioned and to book a call with either myself or KarenAnn to talk about the Market Authority Academy. Maybe we can all work together and continue to rise up as the market continues to shift and as the industry continues to evolve. Thanks so much for tuning in.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. A high five on taking some time to invest in yourself and in your business. If you're looking for more, head over to the show notes to find all the details and links to resources mentioned in this episode of the Market Authority Show. And if you're looking to find a new crew of like-minded pros to ask questions and bounce ideas off of, head over to themarketauthorityacademy.com to join my exclusive community on Facebook, check out my latest free masterclass and tons of bonus content, or apply to my mentorship program to learn how I can help you triple your business this year. Until next time, keep on crushing it.